Hello, it's JANG here with a look at a LEGO Star Wars set. This is the Gozanti class Imperial Assault Carrier. Comes with 1,216 pieces. It has 5 minifigures and a droid, and we'll look at these more closely later. The ship itself, I think, looks better as this LEGO model than it does in Star Wars Rebels. This is based off the Rebels series, though we have seen it in other places. I feel like what we see in the show is a lot more flat and plain and boring than this. This has more color variation, more shape variation, more texture, more difference. I don't think the front end was done all that perfectly well with this one, but it's respectable. The overall shape is pretty good, but I really do like the differences as you look across the surface of this from every single angle. Lots of transitions between studs and no studs, between flat areas and curved areas and sloped areas. Now obviously this is nowhere near minifig scale. But like many other ship sets that LEGO has done that are based on larger ships, this is still able to interact with the minifigures on a limited basis. To start with, you can open up the cockpit area. And there's not much to see or do there, but you can fit a minifigure in it. The entire spine of the craft also removes by simply lifting it up. And there you have a console where you can sit a minifigure to control something. Could be the launching of the TIE fighters, or it could be controlling the turrets around the thing. And you've got another one back here, as well as a little bit of space where you can pose figures just standing up, and there's yet another console towards the rear. There are also 2 storage components underneath the floors, and each of those has a container in it that you can remove. Each has a sticker on top, and inside you'll find spare shots for the stud shooters. This awkward structure in the center is actually a handle, and that is usable right through this area. You pull up right here, and you can just use a single finger to hold the entire ship, so you can fly it around or move it to storage, move it around however you want. It's right at the center of gravity. The stud shooters I mentioned are just to the rear of that opening section. You get a pair of them on the top. There's also a pair down on the bottom underneath, and these are linked together with a geared mechanism that's attached to the exhaust back here, and that allows you to turn both of those turrets around together from a distance. They also embedded one spring-loaded shooter onto the end of each wing. It's kind of in there a little bit, but you can still access the tail section to activate that and actually shoot it off easily. And there's another compartment up towards the front, which you can access from a door on either side, where you'll find a couple of spare shots for the spring-loaded shooter. In universe, they have these ships awkwardly holding their TIE fighter complement underneath the hull and wing sections of the ship. It's just not a large enough ship to hold them on the inside. So here LEGO has 4 mini scale, I don't know exactly what scale you call that, definitely doesn't fit the minifigures. They're smaller than Microfighters versions, but they are attached well enough that obviously you can stand the entire ship on top of them, so it's just for storage, since they didn't include a separate stand for the whole thing. They incorporated a remote launch feature that's pretty nicely hidden. You've got 4 buttons back here, and you push one of them to drop, or any one of them to drop off one of the TIE fighters. Just drops it straight down. It doesn't always work perfectly. Sometimes the fighter will get a little bit stuck and you kind of have to wiggle the ship around until it gets to the point, but generally it works pretty well, although again, these do just drop. Here's a closer look at just one of the TIE fighters by itself. As you can see, it's a very, very, very simple build. With the fighters now deployed, the ship just stands on the things that were holding them. The star minifigures of the set are Agent Callus and Sabine, both with their pretty standard weapons that you see them using most of the time in the show. Prints on the fronts and the back. You also get alternate faces for both. These are kind of their I've got you now kind of faces, but Sabine gets one extra surprise which has been sought after for quite some time. She gets her Mandalorian helmet in dark red. So you get both the hair and the helmet, finally, in one set. We've been looking for that for quite some time now. We also get a dark tan Imperial officer and 2 TIE fighter pilots, one of many different variations that they've done on TIE fighter pilots. Underneath, angry clone on both of them. I'll leave the helmet on one of them. Nice little mark on the helmet for this guy, or on the hat. And there are the prints from the back. Now I have a feeling that some folks out there are going to buy this set just to get this Imperial Astromech droid with the printed trans-clear head. Wow, that's something different and special for sure. Print goes all the way around the entire thing, and it's just got the red lines on it to define its edges. It's kind of tough to see its print, but this is definitely going to be a very collectible little dude. Hopefully this will let you see that print just a little bit better. You still have to look carefully to make all of it out, because there's a little bit of gray in there as well, and you also can get easily confused by the mold marks on the inside where it shows the copyright logo and also the part number. I appreciate the significant effort that went into designing this ship, using so many different types of parts, many different techniques, even including the dropping function for the TIE fighters, which I feel was really not necessary to make this a successful design. I do wish the cab section, the front cockpit section, looked a little bit more like it does in universe, but I feel like everything else mostly makes up for that. I just personally don't find this to be a very exciting craft in universe, especially with the TIE fighters attached to it. It just looks to me to be a little bit on the weak side and easy to attack. I do think that it's going to be a good display model, but I really feel like the primary value here is in the minifigures, especially Sabine and the Astromech, but it really is an expensive set to get for the figures. All told, I just think it's not for everybody. I'm sure there are some folks who really like this and like the unique combination of things that you get here, even with the awkward scale and such. But a lot of Star Wars fans will probably pass on this one to spend their money on something a little bit more iconic. Those are just my thoughts and expectations though. Please do share what you think about this set and what about it you like and what about it you don't like by leaving a comment down below in the comment section. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. I hope that I showed you everything you wanted to see here with this ship, and I hope that you'll come back to check out my next video because it's on the way very soon.